Today's sponsor of the Vision Quest podcast is 920 Hat Company. Leather patch hats are in, and 920 Hat Company is here to hook you up with your very own custom hat. All patches are lasered on top-grade genuine leather and on popular brand hats like Richardson and FlexFit. Whether you're looking to show off your business or want a one-of-a-kind hat for yourself, 920 Hat Company can do it all. All the hats are handcrafted right in the Fox Valley, but worn across America. With over 500 hats in stock, they guarantee fast turnaround times. Honestly, Liam, looking at these hats, solid, right?
Yeah, they're pretty. I like them.
I like that patch itself.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, one-of-a-kind stuff. I know his name's Trevor. He does great work. He's actually gotten I think we got a knit hat coming.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, we got that coming. So we're really excited to have these guys on board as a sponsor. So get down to check them out on Facebook. I believe they're on Instagram. Check them out, man. They got the best hats, I think, in the Fox Valley, if not in the state.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So get down to 920 Hat Company on social media and check them out. All right, everybody. I think you know what time it is. It is time for the Vision Quest podcast, and we have, again, four? This is number 4 now. So this is number 4. You guys are the first 4-timers. It's the thing for 4-timers this year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Huh?
That's the theme of 2020. 2023. Yeah. It seems like.
So you just heard Teague Fenwick. Teague's the man. He's the man. So we got Teague, and then we got Zach Pearson, Wisconsin Grappler, Wisconsin Wrestler Podcast. How you doing today, fellas?
Pretty jacked, man. I mean, it's one of the best days in sports.
Yeah, right? NCAA starts.
Yeah.
You got March Madness. It's just chaos all around.
You can keep that madness one out. We don't need the madness. No pumpkin pushing going on around here, man.
I got to differ here in that. Like, I love brackets.
Yeah.
And B, like, there's just so much shit going on. There's like 4 basketball games on at once. Like, it keeps my little brain occupied for the day.
There you go.
Last year I had a 2 TV setup downstairs where I had like the 8-match Matcast on one.
Yeah.
And then I had like the NCAA games on the other TV, and I was totally set I took 2 days off from work for it.
Whoa. I can accept that you took 2 days off for wrestling, but you included basketball with that. I guess it was just a caveat, really,
I would still like I'm a bigger wrestling fan than anything.
Sure.
But I'm still like a sports fan. You know, that's
I draw a line. I draw a line because I played soccer for so long, so I got a lot of crap from a lot of people. So the sympathy for getting crap in sports, I don't have it. I just kind of say, hey, you know what? I took it for a long time. Now you're going to take it.
Yeah, no, I was actually going to say that. Like, if we can talk soccer on this show, we can talk basketball too.
Maybe that's where you're getting all those people from, all the other countries on your thing where you had 170.
It's got to be, yeah.
The soccer.
It's got to be a soccer thing. It's got to be soccer. But yeah, so it's been an interesting. I don't know when I started this, like 5 months ago.
Yeah,
I can't imagine that the name Vision Quest doesn't hurt at all as far as people knowing something or knowing of something. So, but yeah, no, it's been interesting. I'm not getting paid. When I put some of the ads, so like on Buzzsprout and stuff, you could place ads or have ads that play during it. So if you guys hear ads during the show, it's because of that.
Yeah.
I think the last payout I just got was yesterday. It was like 38 cents.
Nice.
And I can't cash that out till it reaches $50.
Oh, yeah. That's the way mine worked too. Like it was like once it reaches like $100, they'll send me.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that cup? So I saw one that's called Cup of Coffee.
I have no clue what it is. My wife does everything.
I think she set that up for, because I think you have that same thing, because I looked at it and I was like, wonder what that is. I tried. I was like, I don't have time to babysit this. I just don't have time to babysit it. But no, it's been fun. So we have NCAAs coming up. We're going to talk a little bit about the high school season that just happened. The entire season, okay, where there's little things we're going to highlight here and there. So we'll just kind of skip through, like if there's something on a week that you remembered or a tournament. I'm probably going to bring up a lot of stuff that I was at. So, I mean, that's really the only kind of thing that I'm going to have like on my brain, but there's a lot of stuff I have in my head. So you guys,
I also have a pop quiz set up for you, Brad, with schools with slashes and dashes in them.
You're assuming that I looked up stuff and did research. So that's going to be cool. It's going to be really fun. I'll take it. That's fine. That's fine. if I lose, I guess I'll have to, maybe I'll do something odd. Now, I'm not wrestling in a pink singlet.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that yet. Not yet. Not till I drop another 10 pounds and I look good in a singlet.
Well, I dropped 30 and I still didn't. So
yeah, but see, you have that room though. You have that because you're in a special class, and now you're an All-American. At what age were you?
I was 37.
See, man, no, I gotta try.
Yeah,
do it at 45. See if I can do it at 45. See if I can All-American. That's coming up though. I'm not ready for postseason nationals. No way. Not at 195. I'm not.
Oh yeah, we can get you.
Holy cow!
Like
I get smoked. I'd be wrestling guys like Jason Kleinschmidt and stuff, and that would just be a disaster because I would wipe him across that mat. I'm just kidding. I'd lose. I'd lose hard. So, all right. So let's maybe start off with like what? Go ahead.
Real quick here, Brad.
Yeah, go for it.
We got to do the plug here first.
Plug it.
The Vision Quest website, man.
Yeah, I was going to talk about it in a little bit, but we'll do it now. Yeah, I just popped that out. I got kind of sick of sitting around and waiting on it, and it's just kind of. I wanted to make sure it was as smooth as possible. I wanted to make sure that people, so like the first thing you can do is click on listen. So you just go right to the episodes. I know not everybody's going to want to go on the forum, but it's out there for a reason. You know, it's just again, it's not a place to go and demoralize people, but I mean, if shit talk happens. And if you can't handle it, then just don't come to the website. Then it's not a free for all, you know, it's not a place to go in and just start wiping people's name through the mud. It's some place to be freer than where you can on other ones. You know, there's still going to be moderation. You know, not everybody's going to be out there just kind of talking, you know, just shit to each other, but it's a place to go to debate. It's a place to go to discuss. It's a place to go to post out some rankings and argue about it or talk about it and have fun with it and kind of, I guess, understand more about wrestling. I hope people bring more facts instead of just the fact of arguing kind of thing. I hope people actually bring facts that maybe someone didn't know. I know we just got done talking to Jamie Nelson, who was throwing out some Minnesota, Wisconsin facts as far as, I guess we'll compare AWA Pinnacle. So numbers are numbers when it comes to that. And we want to put those out there, you know, put them out there. So that way people see them. I know Jamie put it up on the Wisconsin Wrestling Online forum and stuff like that. But it's like I said, it's meant to be that. It's meant to maybe put out something, because I think we got one for freestyle Greco rules. And then if anybody wants to put something else out there or suggest something, tell me and we can put it up and we'll start a discussion with it. But it's supposed to be a free form area where people can go and not worry about like, oh, this guy's saying this. They're going to say it. I want them to say it. The whole point is so people can understand and maybe learn more about, you know, I guess the sides of wrestling that we don't know. I don't know everything. There's still stuff that I ask every week that people are like, oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, dude. I don't sit down specifically. I bought the NFHS rules this year finally, so I can actually have some accuracy on what I'm yelling at referees. And I kind of talked to Scarda about that a little bit, but it's one of those things where I saw one forum that was limiting and I wanted to create a forum that wasn't limiting. So that's where that's at. So it's got episodes on there. All the episodes are on there. It's got the forum. It's got Paul Stumpf's PS Portraits section in there. Right now it's just I think it's the D1 state champs that are on it. Paul's kind of working on the backside to put what he wants on there and get loaded up. So that's all him on that side. So if there are requests or anything like that, reach out to Paul and he can either put it on there or let me know and I can get it up there. But there will be a gear store on there. I have like 3 or 4 different logos and I have a whole slew of stuff that I can get made up, from socks to shirts to no underwear. I'm not doing underwear. I refuse to have my logo on someone's ass.
Yeah.
In their underwear. Outside, maybe I'll put it in a back pocket or something, put it on the butt back there with what's that one that juicy? They say juicy on the butt on some of those.
Yeah. You're going to have some yoga pants?
If the ladies request it, I can get some juicy Vision Quest podcast pants made up for them.
There you go.
But it's so the gear store is closed. It's not opened up totally right now. You like that, Teague? It's not opened up totally right now. It's because I still have a lot of stuff to load up on there. So I want to make sure, but the pay through it is fine. Want to make sure everything is secure for everybody when they do go to get something. So, but once I get more gear loaded up on that whole side of the page, that'll be opened up and then I'll let everybody know about that. But yeah, it's exciting, man. It's going to be different. We'll see. We got, maybe we can get some content put up there. I know couple people have reached out to me about doing that, getting some video on there and stuff. But yeah, we'll see how and if it grows. I don't know if anybody's gonna like it. That's cool.
I mean, I think if you want to grow followers, get a demoralized Teague tab on the forum.
Well,
can't get any worse than Twitter.
I was gonna see if I could get the homeless Teague stuff going, and see if we could do something a little bit with that. But it's just one of those things where, homeless Teague is where it's at, and I think that's a hot item. I think RQ did a fine job in creating that piece of artwork. It
was good marketing by RQ for sure. I'm gonna try to get that like pushed out in bulk here.
Yeah, I know a guy that can get you a deal. But yeah. So there's the podcast website is out there. So yeah, I know you guys have been on it. So hopefully you guys go out and create some discussions too, and not make me look like an idiot. So no, I do a fine job on my own.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't. No, I can promise I won't make you or myself look like an idiot, but I'll try.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I'm all about self-deprecation. So, I mean, if I look like an idiot, I look like an idiot. It's fine. I've been doing it all my life.
Yeah,
I'm comfortable with it now. So, So how you guys been, Teague? You and Steve, you said you guys take a break, huh? You're kind of in between area.
Yeah, we talked about that before recording, or. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. I guess just talk about what we're doing these couple of weeks.
Yeah, Wisconsin Wrestling Podcast.
Sorry, just get right into the zone here. But no, we're going to be starting. We take a week off first, and then we do. We got a lot of 4-timers this year, but our next our series that we do, we have we interview all the 4-timers, kind of talk about their wrestling story, just go in more detail on that, and kind of talk about their future a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have all the state champion coaches on, which. Now we have Chad Stelta on for the 2nd year in a row, Jeff Machik on for the 3rd year in a row. So it's no, the Machik one's gonna be fun. I was gonna joke and tell people, Brad, that we actually flipped a coin to see who would go first between you and I.
I win.
It'll be. I think we'll be able to flesh out some, like you said, it was like you could get 8 hours of material out of the season with Jeff.
You can, hands down. And it's like I told, we covered a lot, but I mean, there was still a lot we didn't cover. Right. I was there, maybe matches we didn't break down. I mean, we talked about certain kind of situations, but it was an overview, I guess you would say, where you guys can kind of nail into some of the areas that we didn't,
I was gonna joke with you that because you put on your caption we could have got 8 hours. I was gonna be like, thanks for giving us the other 6 hours and 20 minutes. I'm like, that might not look cool to people who don't know us. So
but we already started that on the forum, right? We already started that where someone said something, they didn't know who someone else was, and then they talked to me and they're like, oh, it's just that. I'm like, yeah, it's just that. You guys got to calm down a little bit. We're just talking shit, man. It's okay. Jeez. But yeah, well, that's good. So what else? You're going to be focusing on the teams and the coaches for that. But what else you guys do in the off season here?
So we do a little freestyle Greco stuff in that,
really?
we talk about Fargo a little bit. We make sure to do a preview and then we do a recap there.
Yeah.
But I think Steve and I are going to try to get more of a focus on. We had a really good episode last year with Justin Foley of Wauwatosa.
Okay.
And I think Steve and I's focus, it's pretty clear that we're good at focusing on the in-season, wrestling for your school stuff. That's just kind of, that's kind of where our hearts lie.
Right.
So I think we're going to try to get more guys from the past that whether they were state champions or get old coaches on and talk about really good state duels and just keep trying to push that a little more in the off season. And I think that's really where the partnership with WI Wrestle is going to help, because those guys do a good job with freestyle Greco coverage. So,
they both wrestled in it quite a bit. So
it works out perfect. Where they have that Fargo experience and Fargo interest,
sure.
and I don't know what it is. I think it's because my roots, Brad. I started as a freshman. I did a lot of other stuff in school, so I know high school wrestling in the in-season sense.
Yeah,
it's just. I really need to actively get my heart out there to gain more of an interest in freestyle Greco.
Sure.
And I'm not even saying there's anything wrong with it. It's a me thing.
Yeah.
That's something I need to actively push for, but also why not just keep playing to my strengths and keep focusing on like, oh, let's nerd out to some old high school wrestling stuff.
Yeah,
but
totally. Yeah. Well, and that's so I get into the same way you do. I mean, if it's something that I don't know, it sounds like you kind of dive into it. You put yourself into it. That's kind of what I do. So how else do you do it right?
It was so funny because we do our bye week, and I always do the bye week because my old coach in high school, being a 3-sport athlete, he's like, you got to take a week between your sports where you just go home and do nothing, do your homework and just it's not even just for your body, it's for your brain, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
And I do a lot of brain work for about 3 weeks to a month in February, so I kind of just treat myself there for a week. I'm like, oh, my bye week, Brad just did 8 episodes in one day. My bye week is Brad's grind week.
It's a grinder, baby. You got to talk to all those guys right fresh off the mat, man. You want to catch their brains while they're still going. But, well, you guys are going to cover all the state champs. I got one of them on so far, but I know I got, what's that?
Oh, yeah, you got Stott and then Young. Yeah,
Young was close. He was close. Number 2. He's close, but... I can talk to PD, stuff like that. There's all the people that I have within range, but I let some of those guys though too. I know, Jake was a good one. And you'll like talking to him. Those guys he's got his head on straight, the kid kind of knows what he wants. And then, I know talking to PD will be fun just cause he's kind of an exciting character, but, it'll be interesting to see how you guys present those episodes and see what, maybe if I gotta, maybe do something a little different, but all I know is if I got to be a competitor, man, I tell you what, I'm coming for the throat. Zach's looking at me oh, dude,
what is going on?
Shots fired, man.
You just gotta keep doing what you do, right? That's what.
Yeah, it'll be interesting though. Like I said, those guys are fun to talk to, and it was so some of them aren't, because they're young, they haven't been wrestling for very long, so it's hard to get sometimes an hour out of some guys, and I don't want to push him to the point, and actually Jake had to get going to school.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he literally got on with me. It's like they have a late start on certain days in Appleton, so he was like, "Hey, how about I go just before school?" I'm like, "Okay."
6 in the morning.
Wow. Okay, bud, let's do it. But again, very open guy. These kids have an idea of what they want to do, and it's kind of fun to listen to. So that'll be cool. It'll be fun to see how you guys do that.
That's what we got, Zach. I guess what do you have going on in the off season?
Yeah, are you doing anything freestyle Greco wise with rankings?
I haven't before. I maybe look into it, but there's not many tournaments before state to really gauge anything off of.
Can you base it? And I know obviously not every kid in the state as far as high school or whatever. And I know you're not going to start dealing with kids and all that shit.
Yeah.
But with the high school,
I got my K through 2 coming out.
That's gonna be awesome. I know I'm looking forward to it.
It's gonna change a lot every week.
I want to see what
pin each other.
I just want to see what embryos are coming next.
Right? Yeah.
Just to figure that out. But so what? I mean, could you base it off of these kids wrestled at state, right? Freestyle Greco state, and jump off from there to see maybe this kid will go here, Fargo, kind of.
Yeah, I mean, I started taking out all the seniors and updating my career records on my site.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah, I haven't posted anything yet.
But yeah. Right.
Yeah, that'll be out, and then I work on everybody's where they're going.
Yeah,
and then I give recognition to all the kids that were from Wisconsin that had ties in wrestling.
Yeah.
So I put that list out. That list will come out here soon.
Nice, sweet.
That's a cool list.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I go through every college roster and anybody that has Wisconsin ties.
And good for you taking those seniors off the rankings list because they're not wrestling in high school anymore. So someone made a comment. So Teague, we're going to touch on this just a second here because this is rankings wise. So
yes,
I made a comment on WI Wrestle's thing about the what was it, pound for pound or whatever, I think ranking, or I can't remember what it was. But I one time I put a thumbs down and they didn't like that I didn't comment why I put a thumbs down. So I put a thumbs down, and only reason why I did is because seniors are on there. They're done.
Yeah.
You're done. You're going to college. Your career is over in high school. You don't get ranking anymore. So the one guy made an argument that some of these guys don't make the rankings list all year, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
in your pound for pound, they're not in rankings?
I will have to look at what the comment was. It's on Rockfin. It was something based off of that, but they're like, some of these guys don't make a rankings list. I guess I don't care. then maybe make the rankings list all year. It's not really, it's not even really relevant anymore because they had a great season. You can go back and look at other rankings if you want, and they're on there. But when you're a senior and then you get done with a sport that you're in, you're done.
Right.
You're not coming back next year to wrestle these guys unless you flunk.
Yeah. The only reason that I could see to leave them out there is because like recruiting.
Sure.
But make your own senior list.
Correct. And have a senior list if you want to. Yeah. And if you want to do that. But I mean, it sounds obviously what you're trying to do with your website is to be able to have that accessibility for college coaches, GPAs, stuff like that.
I'm going to work on that in the summer and try and reach out to coaches and try and get them on board.
You need help with that, let me know, because we'll get in touch with guys. Because I think that to me, it's not that the kids aren't important.
Right.
I get it. I mean, what kid doesn't want to be on a ranking list? Right. I mean, I'm sure they want to try and make it or they work hard. And so if anybody wants to come at me saying that I'm like trying to tear these kids down, you're mental. But it just doesn't make sense to me. It's not that you should take your rankings down because you do this. It's just like, I just think it's odd and it's a waste of time.
Right.
You wasted your mental ability putting more effort into putting a senior on there. Because it's just blank. I mean, why?
Yeah.
When you could have put more time into looking at some of the guys that were on maybe the bottom of the list now that come up.
Yeah, those are the people that weren't on the list.
How about those kids that didn't make it?
Yeah, take the seniors off. If you're worried about people getting on the list, they've been on the list.
That's what I'm saying. So it's not so much the list looked great. I mean, it's not that the guys that are on there didn't deserve it.
Right. It's
just that they're seniors now and you're done. Bye-bye. See you later. Go to college. Get ranked in college now.
Yeah.
Hasta mañana.
Right.
But they didn't like the fact.
They're so worried about seniors and they shouldn't keep like updating their rankings once they were eliminated that they were still good.
Right.
Like, why'd you take them off your list? It doesn't, just because they didn't make it to state doesn't mean they're not deserving. And now
I know like weights are going to change.
Yeah.
However many it's going to be. So I'm sure some guys just don't want to, they look like the list hadn't really changed much. So it looked like they had to change like a couple. So they didn't want to put that much work into it just because of, maybe, because these weights are going to change, all this other stuff. But it was just one of those things that kind of threw me for a loop. Like, okay, pound for pound ranking, he's done. He's done. 3/4 of that list is seniors.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Sorry guys.
Yeah.
But that's my 2 cents worth on that. But that's at least I put up and I put a thumbs down. So I put it out there.
Yeah.
So, and I wasn't too afraid of anybody saying anything because it's not like it's completely crazy to say. So
no.
Asta. Bye guys. We loved watching you. It was awesome to see you guys wrestle. You're not ranked anymore.
Yeah. Most of them got their looks already.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's my 2 cents worth, Teague. Hope I didn't upset Jacob or RQ that much with that one. I doubt I did because they get it, but
no, I think you gave your you gave your 2 cents. Yeah. I was gonna say I don't think what you said can even be framed as like putting the kids down necessarily. Yeah. I think I would be like totally fake if I agreed with you though. So I do gotta like come at you with like it wouldn't even be counterpoints because I don't even think there's like objectively a right or wrong answer to this, right?
Yeah.
But
discussion wise,
I would say like, we give the seniors a lot of run in a sense that like we still do like podium winner palooza, our ultimate team say. Then we even give them like one last shout out when we do our season previews next year.
Yep.
And that's just kind of, that just kind of comes with the information, but kind of, I view it as like my left brain and my right brain are both down with leaving the seniors on this set of rankings because the right side of my brain, like emotionally, like it's kind of like the one guy said, it's awesome for them to put in all that work. And then if they happen to make that last set of pound for pound, that's really good for them. And it's like just fresh too. Like I know like there's the argument like, okay, it's done, but like there's still people that are probably still thinking about wrestling, still checking out those rankings, whether it be like those kids or the families or whatnot. And then on the logistical side of things, I always think like a pound for pound, or whether it be pound for pound or whether it be weight rankings.
Yeah.
I always view high school rankings as there should be like 4 grades involved with those rankings, right?
Sure. Yep.
So right now, fresh off the season, you have the guys that are going to be sophomores, juniors, seniors next year.
Yep.
And then right now at the moment, it's the guys that just graduated.
Sure.
So let's say, realistically, there probably shouldn't be rankings until after like summer stuff is done, or maybe even in October.
Sure.
Correct?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
So now during those rankings, now take the graduating seniors off, plug in some of those incoming freshmen, if there is any that made enough of an impact to crack the top 50.
Yeah.
And then you have your fresh set of 4 grades again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. And the guy's argument, I mean, it's valid. I'm not saying what the guy even said was like, even wrong. I get where he's coming. Totally get it. But in the grand scheme of things, like, and like you said, it's still, I guess, their school year is still going on. So it's not like they graduated and left the school. So I get it. I that end too. They're still at that school. They still wrestled with that team. Totally get it. But just, I guess for me, for just the finalization of stuff like that, bye. It sounds really jerky and assholish, but I don't mean to sound that way. But either way, the list looks great. I don't think they were totally off on their pound for pounds. I think there's maybe a couple I would argue for switching places, but that's about it. But that's what the forum's for. I don't want to talk about it here. Save it for the forum. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, yeah, fair. Yeah, head to the visionquestpodcast.com and check out their forum if you want to talk more about this.
Now, hit it now. But yeah, so but again, I appreciate what those guys do. It's just one of the things where I'm starting to kind of get smart. I'm getting wiser in wrestling, I think. And man, if I want to coach, I better get my head out of my ass and start kind of figuring some stuff out the smart way instead of just the brute force way, I pick things up, I put them down, Teague.
All right, first pop quiz question, Brad. Which Dash team did Prairie du Chien beat in the D2 Team State semifinals?
Baldwin Woodville.
Oh,
let's go!
Yeah, because that was like my first pick of having hyphenated Dash teams. I love Baldwin Woodville.
There you go.
It's got the word wood in it.
Yeah,
and ball. Just kidding.
All right.
Love you guys. You guys are awesome. I love those guys. It was cool to watch. I actually got to see that. Watching those guys wrestle, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Baldwin Woodville was shaking it up all right. I mean, it's not like, again, there were some of the teams that were going against other teams that just mismatched, but some of those kids were still like, I was like, shit.
Did you go to the D2 or did you just?
No, we watched all of it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, we watched all of it. So cool. we saw just a little bit and then we left.
Okay.
But it was just being able to see, just a couple of those kids and then out. So yeah, it was a good time. Cool. But yeah, so good one. Okay. How many do you have? How many questions do you have?
Oh, I was lying about that. I just wanted to see your reaction.
See if maybe you can trip me up later on with one or something like that. But I knew that one just because I was there. So but yeah, no, that was, so here's a question I have for you, Teague. When you first started your podcast, when you guys first started doing it, how in tune with some of these teams and coaches were you? Did you have a good relationship with a lot of the schools, like, over, not only just by you, but I guess North and just kind of everywhere when you started doing it? Did you know some of these guys already?
I didn't know a whole lot. I would say once I got Steven, who actually spent time as a coach and had a little more, he has a couple years on me. So just more time, knowing people he's not going to like me if he hears that one.
Well, he's a lot taller. He's taller too. He's Steve the
He's just so good. I learned so much from Steve about making connections and reaching out to people and just being an adult about that.
Yeah.
Where having Steve on really benefits. Well, when I started, I was just a nervous dude who happened to know a lot about the sport.
Okay.
That's
sure. I get it. Yeah.
So adding those connections has made the podcast so much, I would say, just so much better in general. For sure.
Well, I mean, that's your substance. I mean, you got that's who you're going to. Is that, you got a dog next to you?
I have a dog next to me. I know the people can't see it on the show, but then I have a dude right here that's trying to get under a blanket right now. And he's just not having it.
That's awesome.
This is one of the drawbacks of recording in your living room, I guess.
So I'm going to give everybody a heads up. Teague is on a couch right now, and it looks like it's got a ottoman that's at the end because you have a blanket over your legs. He's chilling, folks. He's chilling. He's got one dog laying on the left of him. He's got another dog that's literally standing in front of his face saying, I'm coming in. And Teague's like, nope, not doing it.
Oh, I think he's about to lay down.
Okay,
there we go.
Good job, buddy. Lay down. You do good. That's awesome. So, hey, the way you got it, Teague, I'm actually looking at getting a couch down in the basement down here. We're gonna clear out some of the workout equipment, and then we're gonna have the the couch / kind of like coffee table situation where we can lounge and do a podcast.
It's going to be like Wayne's World.
It's going to be pretty close. I mean, I'll be Wayne and then he can be Garth. You know, Zach will be Garth.
Party on, Brad. Party on, Zach.
Do that whole thing. Yeah. But I appreciate what you're doing because that's kind of, I thought about maybe doing a podcast from bed one time. You know? You hear the dog drinking water? Oh, that's a dog. I got my dogs are upstairs drinking water. You can hear him drinking water. It's kind of fun. But, yeah. So everybody, Teague's taking it easy today. He told you that this is his time off, and he's taking it off. He's there, chilling out. Now that one dog's up, now he's like, "What? Now they're talking about me." He's next to you.
Brad, I was going to ask you, how was your first like individual and team state experience as like now that you have skin in the game? Like,
it was crazy. It was so the regular season wasn't exactly like, I mean, it was good for Liam, you know, kind of watching him and what he did. It was fun. But it was one of those things where he was super nervous his first duel. He was nervous because he just came off a preseason nationals, got pinned in the championship round accidentally and wasn't really meant to be that way, but he was a little nervous because he wasn't sure what was going to happen. Well, then he texted Chris Myers of Appleton West and he was like, "Oh, okay." So once his confidence was there, I was pretty sure conference was going to be all right. Missed that Stoffel match. That would have been a good match. Didn't happen. He was sick, got a bad cold. And Liam doesn't get sick very often. So when he says something like, "I don't feel very good, or my throat's hurting," and you can actually hear it in his voice that he's not feeling good, I'm like, "You're not wrestling, man." So unfortunately, we missed the Stoffel match, but maybe we'll see it next year. I don't know. We'll see. He's a junior and one of those things. But so the conference stuff was fun. The 5-week tournament, that was a grind. That was Liam after individual state had asked Christina and I was like, "We don't have anything after team state, do we?" I'm like, "Why? What do you mean?" I said, "I don't think so. What's up?" He's like, I'm tired." And I was like, "All right." I said, "But you got another weekend left yet, man." Like, he's like, no, I'm not. That's fine. He goes, "But I just need time. I got to take a break." So when we got done, I was starting to look at postseason stuff and kind of ask him and remembering what he said. And he's just like, I told him, I said, "Well, there's postseason nationals and then there's US Open. There's Dominate the Dells." He goes, "We can do them all." I'm like, "Dude, you just told me you needed a break after 5 weeks of wrestling. You're not doing Dominate the Dells the weekend after and then doing postseason nationals. You want to go to the US Open, we're going to train for that." So eye opener. I mean, he's becoming a little smarter now with some of his wrestling. He's seen some of the dirty tricks that happen with varsity wrestling now. And he's seen how you got to train and the type of attitude you got to have. And I wouldn't say Liam took a back seat, but he didn't necessarily take a driver's seat. He was just wanted to be a part of it, and I think he did all right. So no, it's different. I don't get to coach him now. So like, you still hear me yell a little bit, but it's not quite as much until it's state. And then I get a little upset with refs and calls and stuff like that. I was a little upset. I think some people saw me kind of in a way that they'd never seen me before, but I'm like that when I'm coaching too. And one of my kids on the dual team is getting wronged on a move. I'm going to call it out, so, but it was fun. It was exciting to see. It was nice for him to be able to make state, place at state as a freshman. 160 pounds. And I'll be honest with you, he did not weigh 160 all year. He was most likely weighing in around 158, 159, and all those other guys are kind of cutting weight. And so the finals match, and I think I put this out on the post that I put out about him too. That kid wrestled at 195 pounds at sectionals. Liam wrestled up to 170 pounds and he teched the kid. So if that's any indication of what he's going to be doing next year. Next year is going to be pretty fun, I think.
He gave up a little bit of mass in that match, I would say.
Just a little, yeah. Yeah.
Well, when you brought that up to me, Brad, I also gave the Marshfield kid some credit in my head because that kid qualifying for sectionals when he's giving up 25 pounds is pretty crazy.
Right? Right? So it was but I thought for sure that there was going to be a Will You White matchup, but when you want to win a team championship, you got to do what you got to do. I'm not, and that's the thing. Like, so I know some people may look at it as well, that kid should have gotten that match, but when you go somewhere to be a part of a team, you know what the team sacrifice is. So when you're sitting there more focused about what your kid's doing when it's in a team type thing, you are not in wrestling for the right reason, and you are not on that team for the right reason. So knowing it, Liam wanted that match. Like he was itching to have Willie White back, but they told him you're doing this, and he said, okay. I think I could probably point out one or two people that would probably piss and moan because their kid got wrestled up. So those people really don't, I think, deserve any kind of spotlight. Their kid does, because the kid probably would have said, I'll do whatever I got to do for my team, but when you got parents that step in and say things that they don't need to say, that's where I kind of let it go. I was like, hey, it's a team thing. We're not at individual state anymore. We're at team state. So that happened. I was like, all right. Because you do the math. Like, look at the math that was going on as far as the scoring. And they pulled up. Marshfield caught up quite a bit. And we knew that certain things were going to happen. And thank God we got those two matches, the two heavy matches, because that was the big swing. If we didn't get one of those, it could have been scary. Telling you, could have been scary. So that's where.
Well, that was one of those, like, I would say for like the casual wrestling fan, the score is just like 6-0 at the end of those two matches. But when you dive into the duels more, and I'm going to talk to Jeff about this too, but yeah, you guys won those two matches, and barring something absolutely insane happening,
yeah,
I kind of had the feel that the duel was over at that sentence.
Yeah.
Those two matches were essential for them winning. Zach, I'm going to do a quick little flex here. I did bring up on my team state preview, potentially Brady Spranger's coming in the lineup, and let's go.
Yeah, and he did. He made it. It was a tough match. He had Hoyt, right?
Yeah.
Laskowski.
Yeah,
that's tough.
He took Hoyt down.
Yeah. Yes, he did. So here's the thing: those guys, him, DeGroot. That's going to be another kind of Carson Smith type thing where these guys, you may not, you kind of look at them, you're like, well, they look athletic, and they can definitely wrestle like they're athletic. And that's where trips guys up. They think, well, this is just a freshman coming. I mean, they are, but they can move. And that was the one thing. Brady beat Liam when they were younger. And it was based off of just athletic ability alone. He was just moving better than Liam did that day. And Brady's able to pull some of that stuff off. And Colin can too, DeGroot, and I know he'd come up a couple times, and he did well. He performed well too. So it'll be interesting to see this year once they kind of maybe put some summer work, because I think they're done with baseball. I think now.
I don't know.
Brady's football, but I know Colin, I don't think is doing baseball. So those guys have changed their focus a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so, I mean they're lifting. So.
Yeah, and so I think they know what the goal is. So hopefully that translates with some of the 8th graders coming up, because. Otherwise, it's going to be a rude awakening.
Yeah.
Zach, I know you were kind of focused on another duel, but how about Reedsburg, man? I mean, Steve and I talked about it like the week after where, man, maybe Reedsburg wasn't an underdog. Maybe it was like a 50-50 duel and Bayport had more stuff go their way in terms of match results.
Yeah.
Because that looked more like a 4-5 matchup than anything. Like that was an impressive duel.
Oh yeah, that was good. Like I didn't know who was going to win that, to be honest. I mean, I thought it was going to be as close as it was. I mean, I had it where Reedsburg could have won. Like that if they can get that heavyweight match. And there's a lot of matches that could have gone the other way too. Like I don't even remember which match. I didn't get to watch a lot of it. It was during ours, but
yeah. I saw. I mean, what I was able to watch and knowing like some of the teams, I thought Reedsburg looked really good. But again, what do you do when certain chips fall the way that they do? But I think the way that this team state went, obviously everybody kind of knew. But it's just interesting to watch the matchups that happen. Just the matches themselves that. The kids actually kind of get an opportunity to be on that big stage and see how they perform, kind of thing. And I think you saw a lot of kids shine that you typically wouldn't think would, getting kind of the win, because you saw it too, especially when they got that win, because it may not have been a huge deal, but those kids were pumped. Yeah. Like they got up and they were excited about that win. It fired their team up and it got them going just a little bit more momentum into that next match. But it was fun to watch those guys.
That match at heavyweight being a pin for Bayport, that was absolutely killer. And then even their 32, was it Noel getting a pin at 32 instead of even like a major?
Yep.
Yeah. that was kind of the nail in the coffin there.
And Ward having his sentimental kind of end with his last match too. Not that specific match or whatever, but on their last one, that was kind of cool to see. And a lot of those guys having
that's like one of Machik's biggest fears is having your ultra stud at the end of your match and it doesn't mean a thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's just like, yeah, he
Scott
won,
Cleaver always says,
yeah. Yeah. So it was an interesting. So last year we went to Team State and it was fun. It was exciting. But yeah, then this year having some skin in the game, it's definitely a different atmosphere, environment, because you're blocking everything. Honestly, I couldn't really take a lot in because I was so focused on one thing, which really makes it hard to be a guy to actually create content then, because you're so focused on one thing.
Well, you could have been unfocused on our matches. We were 26-2, so
yeah, I know. Well, for the first two duels, they only scored 10 points on us, so that was kind of fun. But either way, it's just one of those things where because you have a little bit more in it, it just seemed like I couldn't take my eyes away from our mat. So it was on and off, touch and go. But a lot of times when I was watching, it's just because there were some exciting things going on. So
yeah, I was surprised by how much Marshfield kicked the crap out of McWanago, to be honest. Like, I thought it was could be a close duel. Like,
they hammered them.
Oh my gosh.
And McWanago got was it 15 or 20 points or something like that? But then Marshfield just crushed the rest of it.
Yeah. I mean, they won like the first 6 or 7 and it was just,
And then my takeaway, the biggest takeaway, I think, was Fenimore. I watching a little bit of Fenimore in their final duel. That was pretty fun to watch. Lot of I would say exciting wrestling out of those guys. I think there's a lot of the upper body stuff just because of the stealth connection, all that other stuff. So you see those guys pretty strong and getting just guys locked up and ready in position. And those guys put a lot of points on the board too. Right. So that was really fun to watch those guys hammer some dudes. But I think if it were up to me, there'd be one more day, and it's those 3 champions.
Oh yeah.
Wrestle it out on a Sunday. You know what I'm saying? I'd
be down for that.
I think it's definitely doable, and I think the WIA could get their head out of their ass and try to make a little more eventful type of situation, since you're going to lock people in. This is another argument I got, is not being able to leave the venue, and we'll talk about that in a minute.
But then you get into that, and then you get to the response where, well, why do we have classes?
Sure. Yeah.
So you got to be careful with that, because you can't do that if you have classes.
Yep. Because then everybody's gonna be like, individuals got to do that too.
Yeah.
I'm game.
Yeah.
Cool.
I mean, like I said, that's where I came from. I'm fine with that.
And maybe that's what you do.
But they'll never do it here again.
And maybe you do that on one weekend where you take those 3 teams and those guys wrestle. And the same weekend, you take all the champs from all the divisions and wrestle each other.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You have one full weekend. Now, again, this is a dream and a pipe dream in my head. That's all it is. I don't have logistics worked out.
Oh boy, Brad, do I have the hypothetical event for you?
Please tell me.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Honestly, so I've thought about that, but like obviously, like that's why Steve and I do that, that fun stuff, because it would adding another weekend to an already long season, I don't know logistically if that would happen, because the season's just a grind. You talk about those 5 weeks,
correct? It is.
We take the bye week for that reason.
Yep.
But even doing there would be enough time hypothetically to. You could almost wrestle a couple duels that evening, or even Sunday morning or whatever.
Sure.
Even we had a guy who was Justin Mudloff. He was on the Holman coaching staff for a year. He wrestled for Random Lake in Luxembourg.
Yeah.
And he said he wants to see True Second at State. And
that'd be boring as shit.
And so I kind of view True Second would be way more boring than those 3 teams dueling. But I think for me, it's kind of the same sense where once everything's locked in, the titles are won and all that.
Yep.
I don't think you'd see the same fire from the kids.
No, probably not. Yeah.
Maybe you have the sense of pride where it's let's prove we're the best in the state. But I really think once you have the title locked up, I don't think you'd see the same intensity that people are thinking they would we idealize that it would be this crazy awesome duel, but
right.
I think there would be some stuff left on the table effort wise.
So speaking of crazy, this is a little off topic. Since we're going out to the US Open.
Oh yeah.
We should do a live podcast all the way out to Vegas.
Oh yeah.
Like a 38-hour podcast, 28-hour podcast.
I don't think that'd be good.
No. I mean, we could pause at gas stations and stuff like that.
Trying to keep each other up.
Yeah, just have people staring at us the whole time, just a live feed.
Do a fear and loathing style. Yeah.
What was it? We were 500 miles down the road. Yeah. The catnip started to kick in.
Oh, jeez.
Well,
All right, we have Teague. He just imagines there's a dragon chasing us.
Oh, yeah. But no, I just thought about that. I was like, that'd be kind of interesting to do. Liam sitting in the back. He's the co-host, dude. We could do a whole show for at least an hour on the road.
There you go.
Call Teague up and do some audio with Teague. But yeah, no, I agree. It's a grind. It would be, like you said, that true second would be kind of fucking boring.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things. I
mean, now that you got seating, that'll never happen.
No, right. Yeah. What's that, Teague?
Well, it's like, what kid would want to wrestle a match right after losing a state championship? Like,
no one.
Yeah. Well, I held myself the last period. That's why I didn't wrestle very hard, because I knew I had a true second coming.
Someone go get that back.
Why'd you just get teched at the end? Oh, well, I had to really save myself for the true second.
I knew I wasn't going to beat this guy, so I just let it ride in this one match. So
and if you're the third place guy, would you really be like pride yourself? Like, I beat the guy that just lost the biggest match of his career.
Yeah, at the last second, like Brody Hart or somebody, he's beating the guy the whole time, and then all of a sudden he loses, and then he's got to come back and wrestle again.
So everybody is aware. If you ever hear us just silent, I'm trying to turn on the NCAAs right now. I'm going to have it so you can see it, Teague, here. It's a little bright, but you should be able to see the screen eventually. But it won't let me.
I'm locked in right here. I'm ready.
It won't let me turn it on until it starts.
I have the track dashboard up. I have the TV up. So isn't there a Wisconsin guy wrestling in the first round, like the 32-33, or no?
I don't know.
Barnett, isn't
there? There might be a 31 seed.
It's a 32 and 33 guy. I don't think.
I guess.
I don't think so.
Nothing that I see here.
There we go.
I see a Minnesota kid at heavy, but
I'm gonna cast it up to the TV.
That's a Wisconsin ties though. Joel's.
Oh yeah,
so.
Joel's, Minnesota, yeah. Yep. Here it comes, Teague. You be ready because there's some wrestling coming your way.
Uh-oh. I think he's ready on his end.
Yeah,
too,
on his couch sitting there. It's like, but would you order Chinese in right away too while you're at it, or what?
I got my quick trip meal this morning.
Oh, that's right. How dare I assume that you went anywhere other than Quick Trip? That was
really undisciplined dieter. I use this podcast as an excuse. I'm like, I'm going to get some snacks at 9 a.m. and hang out with the boys.
Oh yeah. Logically,
awesome.
I mean, it seems good,
Yeah. So with the season, Teague, what was something really memorable for you from the season?
Oh man, I mean, there's a lot we could pull. I mean, I guess I'll bring out, like, most recently, it was cool to see the Luxembourg Prairie Duchesne duel come to fruition.
Okay.
That was, I mean, I would even bring this up to Chaz, because I think, like, it was crazy how Luxembourg grinded out so many good. It was like the duel that I was expecting, in that there were so many matches by decision.
Yeah.
But also the fact, like, Luxembourg ended up winning so many of them. You might look at the box score and be like, oh, well, that wasn't like that great. But it was a grinder, man. It was kind of, it was what we envisioned. And I think you wrestled that like 10, 15 more times. And like,
wow.
Like, what happened was like very much in Luxembourg's favor. And I don't mean that in like a luck sense. They wrestled, they just wrestled really well.
Yeah.
Like they kind of reminded me of like seeing Marshfield in those first two rounds, where it's like they just weren't going to lose.
Right.
They went out there and it was going to be theirs to lose. And I know we were talking about D1 for a little bit, guys, but I think another one of the more memorable things was seeing how quiet the Marshfield crowd and bench was until they clinched a spot in the finals was absolutely wild. It's like it's like it flip switching them, where it's like, you know what, we're sick of like having these good teams and not making the finals, and like we are making the finals come hell or high water this year. And you could absolutely tell.
Yeah.
It was it was awesome to see.
I had a good time watching. So I'm kind of, I wouldn't say close, but I know the Denny's pretty well. So watching Caleb wrestle and stuff like that was pretty fun because I haven't been able to see him wrestle in a high school match before. We really kind of got to go know those guys down at Schoolboy Duels a few years back, and Caleb was on the team with Liam. So it's interesting. Obviously, Liam got big, but it was interesting to see Caleb too because he got just as big. So being able to watch him wrestle is pretty cool. That Marshfield team's tough. I'll tell you one thing though. Coach C kind of got underneath Liam's skin a little bit, kind of giving the little "I broke you" kind of thing. So Coach C, if you're paying attention, he's coming at you next year, and I guarantee you he's going to give you a little sign of his own if something happens during a Marshfield match.
I mean, I've been on the opposite side of like coaching against Cody C, and he's, I would tell him that he's one of those dudes where you're competing against him, like you might not like him. Like when he gets competitive, like
it's intense.
Like
that's cool.
It's I think it's kind of probably the mentality that got him a few state titles for sure. And I know
like Zach, he's like, they don't like me, that's for sure. Me. So what's funny though is because he did this whole breaking thing, and those guys went into ultimate tiebreaker. So I don't know how much he broke them really, but it was just kind of fun. I like that competition
because I broke them with all those what am I looking for? Sprawls, like
with the non-offense that he had. Yeah. That's
how you break people. You sprawl 10 times
and not wrestle. Yeah.
But we also I talked about it with you a little bit, Zach, and like I wish I would have talked more with Liam about it. Like kind of maybe like it wasn't my job to like be his coach, of course, but like Liam was like talking to me about like, did you see that coach like telling this guy that he broke me at the end of that match? Like I saw it in the middle of the match, and I think that's kind of like a young guy wrestling in the state experience. Like I want to tell him like, all right, but why are we paying attention to a coach in the middle of the match right now?
Right?
I'm like, let's, we got it. Whether he's right or wrong or whatever William White was doing, like it's also like
totally.
Hey, you gotta stay on you, man. Like I don't care if Coach Cody C's doing like a Fortnite dance in the corner.
I agree.
You gotta
focus. Pay attention to what's on the mat, not off the mat, dude. Yeah, I totally agree. But it was interesting, and I like that type of competition though because I mean. He's going to bring it then, and that's the type of stuff. When I had my dual team, Wisconsin Iron, it was the same thing. We always knew we were going to go against a coach eventually that was like that. And those are the fun ones because now you got to strategize because he wants to win just as much as you do. They're not just there as a coach that's just bringing a team down to Illinois, Iowa, or Pennsylvania or whatever. Those guys have vested interest in those kids. And that was the whole thing with us. So I love that type of competition. But I thought it was funny how he thought he broke them, but they went in the ultimate tiebreaker. So I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, we didn't break them. But no, Liam saw it. Like you said, he was paying attention to it. He wasn't, but Liam remembers that shit. Yeah. And that's going to go down in his head. Like next year, I'm going to break you. So
he could, now he's set himself up for next year. Like,
it'll be fun. But that, like I said, I am not mad at Coach C whatsoever. I'm sure in the moment of competition, in the heat of competition, it's a little different, but I welcome it. I mean, because that just makes Liam go harder. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be interesting. It'll be fun to see. But that Marshfield crowd and the Denny's and kind of, I think she had gotten some pictures or something like that from state. She sent me over a couple, but it was Mrs. Roth, Kale Roth's mom. She sent some pictures too, but it's nice seeing these guys. It's really fun to watch these guys that you've seen forever. So talking to Stoffel or whatever, but some of these guys that are competing against each other that are high level, whatever, it's fun to watch. So I think Marshfield's got a great team. How many guys are they graduating this year?
I think I can think of 4.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. So, but cool.
A lot of hardware, a lot of talent.
Leaving?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Hoyt and Brett, I know that.
Yeah. And Garrett graduates.
And the heavyweight.
I think that's it, isn't it? Pretty sure that's it.
I think so.
But first round started. See that? And now the feed's gone. Way to go, ESPN. But yeah. So anything else? That was one of your memorable moments. We'll come back and maybe check on another one. Zach, what about you? You were on a 3-time team.
Yeah.
So what was the most memorable moment for you of the season?
Wait, and can we go back? So I didn't catch the end of the match. My bad.
Yeah.
What was like? Would you like argue that Willie White was like stalling in that match, Zach? Or because I only saw the end where it was tied and I ran down. I'm like, I'm going to catch this match side.
Yeah.
Pretty wild.
The way stalling was called, I would think stalling should have been called that match. Like the way they were calling it that weekend.
And I made the argument too, I think with Machek, like it wasn't even so much calling stalling that was making a difference in a match. It was just calling it in general.
Yeah.
It was like it was on vacation.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
like
the next match he had 2 matches later was called way
more.
Yeah.
Liam got called stalling when he was on the bottom, like 5 seconds after they blew the whistle. Yeah. Like, how do you do that? Like, so I asked Skarta about that, and again, it boils down to the guy.
Yeah.
It's really whoever's reffing, because we know. So watching a lot of the matches, and Liam's was one of them. The rest were talking to the guys, doing a lot of talking to them, but there wasn't a lot of putting your hand up in the air.
Yeah.
So that's where it was kind of confusing. And I asked Scarta about that. And he just basically boiled down to it's really just the guy that's out there. But I was like, it was weird because I saw it called all year, but maybe you didn't see those refs too, a whole lot. But it's like, holy cow, it's like Stallings on vacation,
right? Unless
you're doing something, because then they called Liam on it a couple times. But and that was confusing because Liam was trying to create so much offense. Excuse me, I'm about to belch and I don't want to do it in the microphone. But he was trying to create so much offense, and obviously the takedowns just weren't coming. But at some point you have to be rewarded for that. You know what I'm saying? They do it in freestyle in Greco, so at some point you have to be rewarded for that. And
was William White like doing the thing at all? Like, was he doing like fake shots or anything to make it like harder for the ref to call stalling? Or was
it just I don't even think he touched our leg the whole time, unless it was a leg pass when we were in on his legs,
and that was it. Yeah. So it was interesting and getting Skarta's like feedback on it was important to me, because I trust Skarta and his opinion on it.
Skarta's one of the most consistent refs too.
Correct.
You know exactly when you're stalling in his matches, and that's when he calls it.
And he wrestled. Yeah. Like he wrestled in college. He helped coach college. So I mean, I know that guy's got knowledge in what he's doing. So he boiled it down to is that it really just kind of boils down to the dude that's ref in the match. And unfortunately, it seems like some of those guys are kind of losing it. And that's why I keep telling young guys. Liam's kind of interested in reffing now. And
they're holding on too long because they have to.
They have to. Right.
They love the sport. I appreciate what they're doing. But,
but when you can't bend down to check for back points or like run around fast enough, it's time. I mean, and it's not their fault. I mean, I'm sure some of those guys are like, hey, can you just this year?
Yeah.
Just this year kind of thing. And then it turns into that the next year because no one's signing up. So I feel bad for those guys because I've been Matt's side when I was the dick, and then I can see it happening to those guys. So I feel bad. But when you're seeing calls that are just kind of like I don't even want to say blatant, but it was just, they're not getting it. They're not doing it. And it gets really frustrating, especially when it's your kid, but all you can do is sit them in the stands and swear a little bit.
Yeah. Believe me, I was swearing too. Machik had to hit
Apologies,
me and
Zach.
say, go away.
What's that?
I didn't mean to bring you back to that match. We can go back to good memories you had. Yeah.
So what do you take away from the whole three-peat season since you were in the corner?
Like, what do you mean?
What was the most memorable moment during the whole season, I guess? I mean, obviously you guys knew what the path was or stuff. So what was like something small in there that you remember that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, one of my big ones was Grayson finally winning the Minnesota Christmas. Like, that was the first time he ever won it.
Yeah.
Like, so that was a big deal.
Nice.
So
I didn't realize it was his first time.
Yeah, that's how tough that tournament is, man.
Yeah.
I mean, to get 5th as a freshman at 160 is crazy.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Grayson got 6th at 106 his first time there.
Yeah.
So it was like, got 6th, then he didn't get to do it, and then he beat DeBlair.
Yep.
And then he lost to Buskins.
Yeah.
And then so I'm like, we're never gonna win this thing, because I was figuring Buskins is gonna be in there again, and we're gonna have to go through him again.
Yeah.
So he was up at 45, but we still had Tyson Tremoli, who we only beat 4-3.
Yep.
So it was just freaking awesome to find. Like, he was like, I was. Usually a 4-3 match, Grayson comes off the match and he's gonna be pissed.
Yeah,
and he was I'm just like, oh man, that's awesome.
Just getting that part done.
Yeah, that was just getting it off his back. He did not care how he won. he won.
Next step. Yeah.
So that was awesome for me as being in the corner and stuff.
Yeah.
So
nice. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna say the oddest great moment for me was Ben Krieger. getting that win in that match, dude. That was big. Like, and that he was one of the swing matches. He was one of the matches that made a difference.
Kid pinned him at freestyle stage.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So like for him, Dimash just got handled.
And that kid just beat Grant Stromberg, who pinned us at the Cheesehead. I'm just sitting over there going, oh my God. Like I'm watching that match. Like when our match is going on, we're pretty much got it sealed up at that point when that match is going on. And I'm just like, so I watched that match the whole time. I'm like, oh man. We're gonna have trouble beating this kid, you know. And I worked out with him for only like 2 days that week, but I worked just Marshfield stuff because I broke down Marshfield's heavyweight and I was basically being Marshfield's heavyweight in the room, and it worked. I mean, it worked out.
It was a trip, wasn't it?
Yeah,
feet to back.
Yeah, in overtime.
Yeah,
but that kid, all he has is a slide by. So I'm like, if I see you resting your hands on him, I'm yelling at you, you know. So I was like, active hands.
Yeah, move them. Yeah, right on. I would say Ben Krieger, and then one of the other, I guess like kind of unsung moments was it was more sectionals, regionals when Jenkins beat Perkovich.
Oh yeah,
that was another one of those kind of not miniature, but it was big for him, you know, right. And watching and being able to see the reactions of those kids when something like that happens. I mean, Jenkins came from a program that wasn't, the most stellar, so it's just one of those things to be able to see him come from that and then come here to be able to put some work in. It looked really cool, and I was really proud of Jenkins for that. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that was awesome.
But those are my kind of small takeaways without talking about my kid. So there's that. So now with the, like, I don't know, the state tournament's done, with whatever you guys are doing, so now you talked a little bit about freestyle Greco, Teague. You think maybe you're going to kind of steer a little more towards it now that you guys and the WI Wrestle guys are hanging out all the time?
Probably not. No, just being honest, like, I think the fact that, like, they're going to cover it makes me feel less bad about, like, hey, we don't cover this as much.
You can breathe. Yeah.
Like, so now we can do that. Well, because if you think about it, like, we do one podcast a week. Now we have 7 total guys that we're going to be interviewing. That's almost like 2 months right there.
One a month? Like, are you going to do one a month?
No, one a week.
Oh, one a week. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right. 4, 8. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're just doing those 7 interviews until the start of next season. Yes.
Me too.
Oh, God. But like by the time we do those, then like Freestyle Greco State's already done, and we could easily do 2 podcasts a week. But I don't know, during the off season, like, it's kind of 2 podcasts a week is just a heavy schedule. I mean, you just did 4, so you get it.
Yes.
Like,
I actually had to pull one of them back because it was just like, I get like 4 or 5 was too much. Like, I need free time. I love you people, but I tell you what, I really like being by myself the most, you know, just a little self-reflection. I'm just kidding. I'll tell you this much. What was really fun is going to all these tournaments and people knowing who you are, you know, with the show. Hoping that, you know, and they're like, hey, I really like the show, all this stuff. That was fun. So that was a little personal gratification out of that part. And seeing, you know, everybody from different teams. It wasn't just like one area. And there are people I don't know. I know a lot of people in wrestling. It was nice to finally actually talk to people I don't know.
It's nice when somebody you don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not biased. They're not just walking up to me and they could be lying to me. I don't know, just because they like being nice to me or whatever.
Yeah.
But everybody's pretty genuine about it. But it was the people that I didn't know that it really meant the most, because it was just kind of nice that it got, you know, outreach and stuff. So that was kind of a nice takeaway as a selfish one. So, but
no, I don't think it's selfish. I mean, it shows that, like, it's a rewarding feeling, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, totally.
You put in time, like, it's essentially like a volunteer gig. Like,
it is. Yeah. Cause you're never going to pay for my shit.
So to hear that people are like enjoying what you do, to know that the time you're putting in is like worth it. Like, that's really nice.
Yeah.
It's not even about, like, I always say, like, it's not about getting a compliment. Like, it's about, like, knowing that people appreciate what you do. You know?
Well, and it wasn't them just walking up saying, you should do this. You should do this. You should do it. It was just like, hey, I really enjoy your show.
Yeah.
I'm like, perfect. If there's and I always tell people, anything that you think you want us to talk about, anybody specifically I should have on, I got an email on there. Now they got the website. So if you don't contact me and there's something you don't like on, you didn't tell me about it, tough shit. That's about it. I mean, that's really about it. It's just, it's, but everybody kind of, and that's, I try to touch on. So like, I am going to have the managers on. I'm going to have some of the managers on from a team. I'm not going to say what team, but I'm going to have some managers on. Because I think it's interesting to see what the girls, and sometimes there's guy managers, but mostly it's girls. It's interesting to find out what they got to go through with some of these guys. Because just listening to what goes on with just the teammates themselves, and then the managers are around that shit too, like that's got to be a weird environment. Just all 4 or 5 girls, and they're trying to balance, and I don't know what they got to balance. Yeah. So that's why I want to have them on. I think sometimes they're the unsung heroes of what's going on the behind the scenes. Are they washing uniforms? What are they doing? Are you writing down stats, putting stuff in the books? Like, obviously they're taking video. We watch those guys take video all the time, but it's just interesting to see the take that people take away from shows and what you are doing and what they think you should do, kind of thing. Little NCAA pause here. What do we got? Smith and Cardinal. West Virginia has been coming up, man. They got what's his name in the room, so that's a bonus. Edinburgh guy.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say the real, not real wrestling's getting going, but now that the first round's full swing.
Yeah, it is full swing. Yeah, I know, right? So we won't make this too long because I actually I do want to watch, but with the season wrapped up and you guys, I mean, obviously you have Jacob and RQ, kind of doing the freestyle, folk style, or freestyle Greco stuff, but you did mention blogging before, Teague. So you did the one blog that was 5,000 miles long, right? So now, What did you learn from that blog alone? Was there something now that you can take away from that blog that you can, like, you're like, oh, I didn't like this, or you like, I want to change this a little bit. Like, I read the whole thing. It took me a minute. I'm sorry, because when I read, if my brain isn't like catching it right away, I can't finish the whole thing. So I had to read it in pieces, but it was informative and it gave everybody an insight to how you view things as far as a wrestling or even a tournament goes without listening to a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So
I would say proofreading is key. Yeah. Like, not to sound like an English teacher, but like proofreading is key. And like, not even just like grammar and spelling, because like that can look off-putting in general, but
sure,
I'll actually like read what I write out loud to myself if I have time.
Yeah.
Because you want to make it sound readable. Like, if sentence structure and whatnot, like if it just seems sloppy, then it doesn't draw people in. And I realize, like, and I could do better for sure. It doesn't matter how long your shit is. Mm-hmm. Like, if it's a good product, people will take the time to read it.
I did. Yeah, I did.
So I kind of felt bad when I made one long one, but then I realized, like, oh, everyone still read it. So I must be doing something right.
Exactly.
So then,
don't let the length thing bother you. Because like I said, it's just one of those things where sometimes I got to piece it up. But it's, but you had information in it. It's not like you were just rambling, you had information in there that was pertinent. So,
well, that's what I think. Yeah. It's like kind of mixing that like conciseness with being informative.
Yeah.
And then like when we did our sectional previews, it was kind of cool because like, Nate did one, Jake did one, and Steve did one.
Mm-hmm.
So then I got to read Nate and Jake's first, and it's like, okay, like, what do I like about what they do? And then what can I do to add my own personal touch?
Sure.
And then I end up like doing like a little thing for all 14 weight classes.
Oh boy.
Which like people like, obviously there's like more stuff for certain weights, but
yeah, people
appreciate that stuff. They appreciate when you like go in depth and do all that. So I realize I need to keep being myself in that, like, yeah, I'm going to put my shit out and make it an hour, not an hour long read, but
whatever. Yeah.
It's going to be a little longer, but like, you're not going to miss anything. Like whatever you need, it's going to be in that article.
Good.
And I think I'm going to try out like fun stuff, like power ranking the 10 most exciting state finals matches, or like doing power ranking stuff. Just talk about like more fun stuff. Like now that I've kind of done a couple, I want to keep doing it because I don't think I'm a bad writer.
Nope.
Nope.
Like I said, with me especially, because like there weren't a lot of books I read. Sorry, but I read Stephen King books, and those are long. But those Stephen King was just different because it just grabbed me different. But every time I read, it was new information. It wasn't you being repetitive. It wasn't any of that. It was just a good flow of information that you're putting out there. It just took me a while, because a lot of times when I look at it, I'm at work, so I have to like break away and go do something, and I can come back and read, and then I lose what I read, and I'm like, shit, and I got to go back a paragraph because I don't remember what I read. So that's my fault, really. But I thought it was interesting because like looking at some of the other blogs that I've seen, and they seem like they leave something out. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, you're getting it all in there, you know, where you're not leaving anybody with questions like, wait a minute, what do they mean by this up here? They didn't like touch on it. You kept it to where you were answering almost questions as you went along, so that way the information was right there. So that was nice. So I was just kind of interested to see kind of what your takeaway was, because you mentioned that you hadn't really done it much or at all, and you're diving into it now because it's kind of the WI wrestle thing. But now what was what is a draw to you about blogging? What's an upside to blogging to you?
An upside to blogging?
Yeah.
I mean, like,
what's a positive of it?
So like a long blog for me is like, it was 18 minutes, right? For
Sure.
that Aquinas Fenimore thing. I think it was 25 for the sectional preview.
Yeah.
That's still an hour, like 30 minutes to an hour shorter than our podcast.
Right.
So it's like a written thing is like more succinct, and so everyone like learns differently. They retain stuff differently.
Correct.
Like there's people who could remember a podcast way better than they could a reading.
Right.
But now I'm appealing to people who like to read.
Mm-hmm.
So I think appealing to different, you know, maybe like learners or people who take like who digest their content differently is a cool thing.
Sure.
And I've always written dumb stuff like hypothetical stories, or I do power rankings like for fantasy football. Like,
yeah,
I do have a lot of fun with it and like entertaining my friends. And now it like a positive selfishly for me is like, oh, now I get to do this about something I love and do it to a bigger group of people.
There you go. Yeah,
so,
for sure. I agree. I think so like on the website that I have, I have an option to blog. I thought about it, but sometimes like, you know, on here we can talk about what we want to, but I feel like if I write something like, cause you can't, a lot of my stuff is based off of opinion.
28 over a 5.
What's that?
28 over a 5 already.
Holy jeez. App State though.
I know, but it was a bad seed, but still.
Yeah, it was a bad seed.
Is McKee still the underdog, even though he's the 11?
Yeah, I was gonna say we got this number 5 guy shouldn't even been number 5. You know, like what's going on here, man?
Jory Volk.
Yeah. Oh, D'Agostino. He's good. I like watching him wrestle. But I saw the blogging and I was like, hey, because a lot of what I have to say is opinionated, and especially writing, people, it's like texting someone.
Right.
They're going to read it and they're going to see a word or two that weren't meant away. And they're gonna be like, what the fuck are you talking about? Blah, blah, blah. And it's like, okay, now I need to actually like say the words. So I don't know if it's safe for me to blog. I don't know if that's really,
I mean, if you want to try it and like send it to Zach and I for like a proofread, like I'll
try that. Maybe I'll try that once and just maybe I'll talk about Fargo coming up kind of thing and just do a little blog that way. Cause I think it's interesting. I think I could write some stuff. I mean, I wanted to be an English major. So, I mean, I'm pretty sure I can put some shit together, but it's just, like I said, a lot of the stuff that I have to put out there is opinionated.
Yeah. I'm going to start blogging about stuff like for parents and stuff about like recruiting and nutrition and stuff on mine, probably just to put some stuff out there. Well, you and I are going to be kind of battling a little bit because I'm going to be doing nutrition pretty soon too here, man. I mean, obviously I'm not the pillar of nutrition, but just what other people say about it. Obviously. Yeah. So, well, and that's, I mean, I got Frank Jasper. We were just texting him the other day because we were in the organic aisle looking for tea and crackers and stuff that are decent for junior up there. Yeah. And Liam's digging it. Like he's getting into it. He was reading the stuff. He's like, no, we can't get this. We got to get this. And yeah, that's cool. And I was like, yeah, we got to get him back on. I know Frank's I know he's down. I think he's down at actually the NCAAs right now. So I'm going to get him on after this whole season's done and we'll start talking about recovery and all that stuff. So yeah, I think, so here's the thing. I'm pretty excited about just some of the stuff that we have going on. I mean, I guess I'll even admit that I'm excited about WI Wrestle and what they got going on because the content, hopefully they get out to Fargo.
and do some stuff out there. Like get some, hopefully they can get some not live, but just get some video of stuff and guys wrestling out there. Cause the one thing that I always missed was like, you got to see the pictures of these guys and like those bigger moments, unless you're watching it on TV or wherever the feed is. Most people don't have that. So you just see these guys with their hand raised. Hopefully these guys can get like some action video of these guys wrestling so they can kind of see what that whole environment looks like. Cause it's crazy. It is a crazy environment, and I've never even been in it yet.
Oh yeah.
Well, hopefully Liam makes it this year, and then then we can see it. But like, man, it looks crazy. But there's what does he call himself? The greatest or something like that?
Bix.
Yeah, I don't remember what he calls himself on Instagram. It's basically it's not very self-deprecating, but either way. But I think it's cool with what we all have going on now. Like my website, then WI Wrestle has theirs, and then. The only thing though is that there's platforms that have things that make it accessible, and then there's platforms that don't make it so accessible. Like going on WI Wrestles, like I thought there's going to be a little bit more that you could get into. I already have Rockfin, so I don't have to worry about logging in and getting that stuff. I can see all their stuff.
Yeah.
What I was looking for a little more was just some of that content that you had to go to Rockfin for that was more there on the website kind of thing. And I didn't go through the whole thing. I haven't stalked the whole website to see what it is, but I was kind of hoping to see that they'd throw those bones out a little bit on the website to kind of show, hey, check this out. Draw them to it, draw them to your Rockfin, draw them to there to be able to see like, oh, hey, shit. Okay. Cause that way they don't have to try to get to Rockfin just to see a piece of it or whatever. They can see that it's right on the website. It's accessible for them. Then it's leading them there. But it's just me, and maybe they have it there, and maybe I'm ignorant and I didn't like it. Like I said, I didn't stalk the whole website. I think it's kind of confusing though that they haven't just put that forum on their website. It leads you right to the Wisconsin Wrestling Online. So I would have liked to have seen the forum just plastered, like copied, pasted, and then put onto their website. But that's me.
They don't have the page.
And I don't know how easy that is. How you're, like pull, because like I can, if I wanted to shut down my account on Facebook, I can download all the garbage or whatever that I have on there. I can download it so it's on my like phone or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't know that you can necessarily do that. Just magically make it happen over into another website. We're not all that tech savvy, but it would be nice if they had just their website after a while. And I don't know if that's the goal or not, but we'll see. I like their website. I like the stuff, the way that it's put together. I like it. And that's why I tried to hopefully make mine as simple as possible, because Wisconsin Wrestling Online's got a lot of shit going on in there. Well, how long has it been around?
I'm not even sure.
Forever. Right? Like
20-something years.
Yeah, right? As long as websites have been around, I think, probably.
Over 20 years.
Yeah, I know when Ben was in high school.
Yeah. So yeah, that's right, because that's where he was talking shit, was on the forum. So it's just one of those things where that thing's just been around for so long, it's its own fucking animal. Oh, yeah. Like you can't avoid it. But I think it's really cool now that with the amount of content that we have going around the state and the things that we have going, I think it'll be I think next year that we can up our game a little more in whatever we're doing. And like I said, I'm going to have a whole studio down here. Eventually I'm going to have the walls will have the foam on it. So it's all of a door. Probably eventually I'm getting some walls redone upstairs. So we're going to have a cool, so like I was actually going to bring up Teague. You should actually come here. And I got a spare room, man. We got a whole room upstairs. It's got a dresser in it. It's got a bed, everything. You come here and we'll sit down and podcast for a whole weekend.
I'm down.
A whole weekend. And we'll buy all the Quick Trips right down the road. We'll buy all the fucking Quick Trip pizzas and shit you want. And we'll bring it here. We'll put the microwave right by us so we don't even have to leave the basement.
I'll have the time. I'll blog about my my diet for the weekend in Kaukauna.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We'll get a full package of Depends. We won't even leave the basement, dude.
I start my day off with a large blackberry lemonade tea and some Jack Link's thick cut strips.
He's already got it. He's already got it figured out.
Oh my God. He's sitting on his couch covered in a blanket eating Jack Links and drinking. What is that? Black raspberry? What is that?
I have blackberry lemonade. Well, that's in the fridge.
Oh, wow.
I drink these clutch drinks.
Yeah.
They're sugar free and they have 300 milligrams of caffeine. So there's no sugar, which is a positive.
I know, right? Jesus.
300 milligrams of caffeine in like a 24-ounce container. I don't know about, but
he's What we'll do is maybe they do that test where they dehydrate or whatever, dry out Coke. That's how they get all the sugar out of it or something like that. Just measure all the sugar content and all the shit that we're drinking. Just let it sit here and take a picture and be like, this is our weekend.
I mean, you want a homeless Teague picture. This might be it right here.
Perfect. Brett, we're going to make a whole new t-shirt then. I look homeless too sometimes, I'll tell you what.
It's not Trey. Yeah, now Zach looks like a suave young gentleman compared to us.
I wouldn't say my name's ever been used with suave.
His wife sent me a picture of me. It was clean shaven too. And she was just like, she told me something about he's a little baby boy and it's something he had something he had to go look at or whatever. I was like, holy cow, is that him? Or is that his little brother?
Yeah. That's what Machik said. He said, I didn't know McCarthy had a younger brother.
Yeah, where'd that come from? But yeah. So Teague, with the podcast that you guys do and the blogging that you got going on, is your time now with the blogging, does your time, you find yourself a little more filled with your day? You got more stuff going on, or you just kind of...
I mean, I haven't done any blogs yet. So
since the last one?
So I would say like, it's going to be different because last year I was between jobs when I did some of like that heavy off season stuff. So I think like balancing that out, like now with like a significant other too, is like, that's just like a general life thing, is like figuring out those priorities there.
Sure.
Or just like having to deal with the heat if I say like, sorry, honey, I can't hang out tonight. But I think, that just comes with the territory sometimes.
Yep.
Mine usually gets excited when I say that to her. So
oh yeah, that's good. Good stuff. That's what we need.
It's funny because like this weekend she might be going to her parents, and like we'd probably be hanging out if she didn't go to her parents. So like I'm just like, you know what? I hope you have the best weekend up at your parents. We'll still talk over the weekend, but like deep down, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just get the house to myself. Like I'm gonna be such a pig these next 3 days.
Well, and so the way I thought about it too is I'm looking at setting up possibly at a place around here, because there are a couple of taverns in town that have a lot of space, right? So I thought about trying to maybe get like an episode a month or something like that, where we can go sit down, have some drinks, maybe order food and sit around in a so you can hear the glasses clinking, like we're in a live environment, and then maybe we can have wrestling fans that are there, tell people we're going to be down there or whatever, and have them come down. But I want to try and get a more of an interactive type of I guess segment, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
But being down there, whether it's live or not, but just recording an episode and being able to just kind of shoot the shit. Because I think we haven't had an episode yet where alcohol's involved.
No, you don't. I don't think you want that with me.
I don't think it's terrible. We're smarter than that. Come on now. I think we can handle ourselves.
You weren't there at the end of the night of the team state celebration. I was pretty sauced.
I didn't want to be there. It was not a night I needed to be partaking in, that's for sure. Because the other
we get like 45 minutes in, and Zach would be like, you know what, Teague, here's what I really think of you. And that would be like the last episode that we have together.
Make the dog talk. Make the dog talk into the microphone, Teague.
Oh my God.
Steve-O just lost.
Whoa. Wow.
He didn't have his mohawk.
Wait, who lost?
Steve-O Poulin.
Yeah.
Number 6 lost to the 27.
Number 5 goes down. The number 6 goes down.
5 goes to 28. 6 goes to 27. Wow.
Gosh, I love this day.
This is crazy. Upsets in the first round. Caleb Smith.
Yeah,
D'Agostino, Dean Peterson.
Yeah.
Wow.
That might be our signal, guys. Like
it might be.
I'm sure there's more we could talk about, but the focus is just going away. So
I think we're gonna have to probably put this down pretty quick here. But it's been an hour and a half. I mean, we don't have to do 3 hours every single time. But I don't know. You're gonna hang out? We're gonna watch this. Yeah, you're gonna leave right away.
I can hang out for a minute.
Yeah, I can probably leave right away. Just make some.
You're not going to kick me off right away, are you?
No. We'll sit here and watch this. We'll talk about it, but I just don't want to. Obviously, like you said, now we're kind of.
You keep looking at me. I'm like this.
Yeah, we're gonna have like. I'm like, oh shit, there's that match going on. Oh, there's another guy. Look at that, Nebraska. Okay, but so Teague, wrap it up. Why don't you plug some stuff? Plug things that you need to plug.
Yeah, I mean, tune into the Wisconsin Wrestler podcast next few weeks. Gonna have all the state champ coaches on. If you're a big Jeff Machik fan, you're getting plenty of that content this spring. We're also going to have all the 4-time state champs on. That'll be fun. And then also, I mean, this is just a fun thing, but like we do Podium Winner Palooza, which we take all the place winners from each division, put them into a 16-person bracket, and like,
can't wait.
It's just a nice way to talk about wrestling in the off season, like talk about folk style.
Yep.
And then we do Ultimate Team State, which like I want to say that one's fun, but that one also gets pretty heated. So, well. I'll just say this: don't trust the wheel. Don't leave your fate in the hands of the wheel with that.
Oh yeah,
but
go with your gut. Go with your gut, guys.
That's basically our plan. We're gonna try to get some old wrestlers on, old coaches, and okay. That'll take us to September.
Right on,
in a loose way.
Right on. Well, so when you were talking about the coaches will all be individually, and then the state champs will be individually, right?
They're all individual, and we actually, like, last year we started having some of the coaches on with the 4-timers.
Oh, that's cool. That's a cool way to do that. Yeah.
I don't know if Jeff's going to want to deal with us that much, but, like, I think for some of the other guys, we're going to have...
I'm not going to answer that one for you.
Oh, so do you have the answer?
No, I don't.
No,
I would be assuming, and I don't want to be making an ass out of you or me, so I'm not going to assume, but I'm guessing. But yeah, no, he's pretty kind of low key dude. You know, I asked if I could go up in the room. He didn't want me up in the room either. So if anybody else asked him,
I have a question for Jeff that could be off-putting to him. I'll just leave a little teaser there.
Oh boy, then you might want to think about that one because he's not an off-putting type of dude. So I don't know if you think the word's off-putting. You might want to change the word because if you want future interviews, you don't want to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at the beginning of the interview.
No, we're gonna get them gonna get them loosened up first,
sure.
And then we'll. No, it's really not a bad question, but I just got to think of how to properly phrase it. Yeah.
All right, I was worried about you for a minute because I didn't know.
No, I wanted to drop like a little dramatic cliffhanger so people tune in.
Yeah, no, you got them. You got them because here's the thing: is if Teague does have that question, folks, and Coach Machek's on, you're gonna want to hear that question. I'm telling you, because the response will be priceless.
Yeah.
So I wish you guys luck on your interviews. Zach, you got any pluggables?
Not really.
What do you got coming up for rankings?
My K through 2, it's hot coming in.
What's the top embryo right now? What's the top cell? What's the top cell?
I don't know. I haven't even really looked into that yet.
You haven't hopped into the embryo seeds yet?
No, I mean, K through 2 is hard enough.
It is tough, man. It's back and forth every time, back and forth.
No, I'm just, I'll get my way too early next season. But it usually doesn't come out till after I see the weights at Freestyle State and stuff.
How early do you do that incoming freshman one?
I do it right after I see. Right after I do. Basically, I'll do it after WWF State.
State, okay, yeah.
And because I'll be down there and I'll be watching them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll be down there. My daughter hadn't qualified yet. But
think you'll make the trip down if she doesn't qualify?
Oh yeah.
You're still gonna go down state if she doesn't qualify?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I go.
Maybe
down.
I'll go with you.
Yeah.
We'll see what's up.
I mean, I love chaos, so that's the perfect spot for it.
It's nothing but chaos, man. It was nothing but chaos. That was one thing we were kind of glad we got out of now that we're in high school.
Yeah.
And I think I was talked to Mike Newbert, Carson Newbert's dad, who was up at Nazar. Shout out to Newbert and Nazar. But he was just saying that Carson's kind of done with middle school. You see a lot of these kids that are pretty successful as, you know, the young kids like that, and they're just ready for high school, and they're over middle school. And it's kind of funny because you watch them the year before and they're all excited about it. But now that they realize that they're getting out of it, they're like, I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Oh, yeah.
See, the seniors do it too.
Oh, yeah.
It's no different from an 8th grader to a senior. And it's funny seeing that because it's like, wow, okay. But then they're pumped up 2 weeks later. They're fucking ready to go again.
Yeah.
You know, they just had that 1 week or two that they're just like, I'm kind of sick of it. And then you give them that break because Liam took a whole week off. He didn't have practices, nothing, and just kind of got done. But anything else you want to plug, T? Because then I'll plug mine, and then we'll be done. No,
I'm set, man.
All right. Well,
thanks again for having me on.
Yeah, it's gonna be. Well, this will be ongoing. Like I said, we'll get you down. Maybe we can do maybe we can get an 8-hour podcast. You know, then I'm not doing one the whole month. I'm not going to do one the whole. If we get an 8-hour podcast done, we can do that in a weekend. I am not doing one the whole month after that.
Well, we could plug the collaboration that I'm going to do with Liam, where we draft a Pokemon wrestling teams.
That's right. Yeah. So you let me know when that's going to happen. I don't even want to take part. I want to watch. I want to see how that all unfolds. But that'll be
the 7 went down.
That'll be what?
5, 6, and 7. And 12 and 13 at 125.
What happened at seeding? What the fuck is going on here? Ooh, a little smack talk to the corner. That's what I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, all right. We're gonna let everybody go here. All right. We're gonna start. I'm gonna start my music. You ready? Here comes the music.
Did you plug yourself yet?
Oh, I'm not done yet, dude. I didn't turn it off. So we got the visionquestpodcast.com. Head to the website, free forum. Go on there. There's one lock page because there's going to be guys that want to talk shit. And we want a room for them. So I created a room for them. But yeah, go ahead to the website, visionquestpodcast.com. I'll have gear up there. PS Portraits has his stuff up there. Paul Stumpf, he'll load on whatever he wants to. I'll have gear on there, a ton of it. I'm going to have, like I said, from socks to, he even sent me pictures of jiu-jitsu pants. Whatever. That's cool. But yeah, this has been another episode of the Vision Quest podcast, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Peace. All of our episodes are brought to you by Appleton Tattoo, located at 117 South Appleton Street in Appleton, Wisconsin, right off the main drag on College Avenue. You can't miss them. I've had some work done. I have a Celtic cross that covers my back that was done by Jason. We're not done yet. Jason Winans and crew, the artists that he have there, those guys are the best in the Fox Valley. They are definitely one to go to if it's something that you've just been kind of throwing around. They'll make you feel comfortable. It's a very clean environment, very nice crew, and very willing to get done whatever you need done when you need it done. You can message them on Facebook. I know they're on Facebook. You can give them a call at 920-604-8289 and get in touch with Jason Winans and crew at Appleton Tattoo, located again in Appleton, Wisconsin at 117 South Appleton Street, right in Appleton. Very flexible hours, great crew, clean environment again. I would not send you anywhere else except for these guys. Appleton Tattoo.